welcome to another episode of Real Life Survivor Stories. Today in the studio we have with us Kim McCloskey-Lint. And Kim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's been a little bit, and we connected there a while back, and here we are. And I went over your story last night in my office and this morning, and oh man, I'm telling you, you've been through quite a time.
Yes.
But here you are. You're gorgeous, and you're just such a bright light. And you know, people that know your story know how strong you are and all you've been through. So Kim is a real life survivor of breast cancer. She lost her brother, and she also lost her dad through all the stuff that she was going through. So, and also, as I was going through your story, in 2010, this is when it all kind of started. You had gone away, right, down south,
yes,
to a friend's wedding.
Yes.
So maybe you could kind of elaborate more on that and take us from there.
Sure. Looking back on it, I realized how unwell I was feeling, but not noticing it, I guess, in the moment, for several months leading up to that. Anyways, had a trip booked, went down south to the Dominican for a friend's wedding, like you said.
Yeah.
During that trip, I mean, you're in the throes of everything. It's beautiful and lovely, but I was still like, I don't feel great. Like it was a flu-ish kind of feeling, I guess, but not enough to stop you from doing anything, I guess.
Right.
Like just that kind of like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Spent the week there. Obviously had a wonderful time. Came back home. Was only home a couple of weeks, and I got progressively unwell, I guess I would say. Like a little fevered, some like abdominal discomfort. Again, nothing that I was like, what is happening, without realizing the severity of what actually was happening.
Right.
So I had visited Ormoc Hospital, emerged there, and the DAC a couple of times. I was sent home with, they thought I had a bladder infection. They told me I may have had some other sort of contracted something on this trip. I still was like, I don't love that. Like, I don't think that's what it is, because I just felt that bad. And which led to more pain and more discomfort, and finally reaching out to my family doctor to follow up with him. But things kind of started falling apart before I even got to that original visit. So I was driving on my way to the doctor and had extreme abdominal pain, which led me to pull over to the side of the road. At that time, still not knowing, I had no idea. I was like, is it my appendix? Is it gallbladder? Like,
you just knew it was
so
bad.
many things it could have been, right?
Right.
But I did get to my doctor's office, who he in turn just sent me over to the DAC for ultrasound and whatnot, because he was also thinking maybe it's an ovarian cyst or something along those lines. And even when I got there and they did the ultrasound, they only were checking female organs, let's say that, right? So they were only viewing that part of the anatomy. They weren't looking at anything else. That kind of seemed to be their focus. So clearly nothing showed, because that's not what was
They weren't looking in the right spot?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So it still went to emerge again, and was like, something's wrong. So that evening, it was busy. They were like, look, we're going to bring you back in the morning. We'll do a CAT scan in the morning. Sent me home with
that must have been crucial. Wow.
Anyways, that was a really long night. I was very sick. Fevers like spiking. I had chills. I was sweating. I was just no comfort at all. Anyway, by the time I had gotten back to the hospital in the morning for the CAT scan, at that point I couldn't even sit myself in a chair. Like, I was so unwell that I couldn't even do that.
Awful.
But fast forward, they did the CT. The technician at the time, who they don't normally ever say anything, I realized they had seen something, because she was like, how long have you been having this pain? And I thought, okay, something's there, whether it's whether something, anyway. But what I found out was not anywhere near what I expected here at that time. So my bowel had perforated, and it probably had perforated that day where I had the extreme pain when I was on my way to my doctor.
Wow.
So at that point, it was a whirlwind of this is what's going to happen. You need to have surgery. It's emergency surgery. You need to sign this. You need to sign that. Like,
And you were septic?
septic. You know, the surgeon looks at you and says, I need to tell you that you might not wake up from this. Like, you need to be prepared. And I said, I just want you to do whatever you need to do at that point, right? So there was the talk of having to have an ostomy if that was the case. Like, if you were going to come out of this, you were automatically, you will wake up with this. There's no getting around it. So I did wake up, thankfully, and
yes.
had a colostomy in place. So I battled that foreign field, I like to call it, as being one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do.
Quite an experience, eh?
Yeah. Once I got I wouldn't even say I ever got used to it. I said, I know I needed this. This saved my life. Without this procedure, I wouldn't have lived.
Exactly.
Like, that's what needs to be done, right? Luckily, I had that for a year and it was reversed. So everything was repaired and put back. But in that time frame, even through that, I just joined through the hospital here. They had an ostomy support group, I guess you could say, but you could also become an ostomy visitor. So I did sign up for that to help other people who needed to have that procedure done. But I also, in speaking to the people that set that up, said, I can't really relate to someone that's going to need this for the rest of their life. Like, at my time, I knew it was temporary. Well, luckily it was temporary. It could have ended up being permanent, but so I joined that and, was able to speak with a few people throughout that small time frame of my life where I could just offer them support to say, look, I'm like, what was I at that time? 34, 33.
Yeah.
And I said, I did this, so you can.
That was a big help,
too, right?
Right.
So a year went by and that was, reversed, and a few surgeries later with that, and
so you're okay now?
all is well there now. Yeah. Yep. So.
Okay. And then you started to feel better in 2012?
Yeah, 2012. I mean, I had a couple follow-up surgeries with that just to repair things like hernias and whatnot. And 2013. I don't know, call it a divine intervention, I'm not sure. I woke up in the night one night with a really extreme pain in my left breast. So which led me to investigate it the next day, because I was like, I sat right up in bed because I was like, what just happened? I didn't know if I pinched myself. I had no idea, right? I didn't know, but it led me to investigate the next day. So I did, but I was actually just happened to have a doctor's appointment coming up. So I was lucky that I was able to mention that to him at that visit for something else. Mm-hmm. And he was suspicious right from the get-go with that. He didn't really love how the feel of it. It was quite large. So I was actually leaving for vacation then, and he said, go do your thing, and when you get back, we're going to look at this. So by the time I had come home, like a week later, there was already, mammograms lined up, and everything was set to go from there.
That's a hard weight, though.
Yeah, very hard weight, but still holding on to the thing of okay, I have no history of any type of breast cancer in my family.
Trying to stay positive about everything.
It could have been what's called a fibroadenoma, which a lot of women have. It's just a lump that's non-cancerous, but it's in varying in size, but not cystic. Anyway.
Okay.
So I was kind of hanging on to that, a little bit. But anyways, I did go for the mammogram, which led to further, because they were like, something's not right here. So the biopsy, the ultrasound, all the extra things. And that was actually, I want to say a Thursday or a Friday, so still going into a weekend of having to wait for to find out what is going on with this. The radiologist, again, they don't say much. They're not really allowed to say anything, but she did hint to me that, she said, I don't like the look of this and I don't like the size of this. So I was like, okay. But still hanging on to that little bit of, that won't happen to me.
Exactly.
That's not going to happen to me. I'm 36 years old. What? That'll never happen to me. Anyway, fast forward, and I found out about a week later, I want to say, that it was breast cancer, invasive ductal carcinoma, just the standard, not standard, but pretty much the the common, but then still had to wait for the pathology and whatnot on that to find out moving forward what the treatment plan looked like, right? And baseline scans, is there any spread? Did it metastasize anywhere?
Exactly.
Right? Just given the size of it. It was an aggressive growing. It's called, what I had is called triple negative breast cancer. It's a very fast, aggressive growing type of cancer and is limited to the interventions that are available for it.
Wow.
So where it's not progesterone or estrogen driven, it's not something that's often covered by a medication for, X amount of years afterwards. However, I did have a slightly positive estrogen receptor, which was like literally 0.0021, like some big
It was
long,
a little bit,
but it was enough
to make
that
you
the
bit of hope.
doctors in oncology at the time said, like, what if that's just the little one that might have got away? So I did get placed on what's called tamoxifen, which is a standard treatment for usually someone with estrogen positive cancer.
Okay.
So I was on a 10-year plan with that. So I took that for 10 years. I actually just stopped that. Where am I at now? I'm 12 years out from that journey. So I had stopped that actually a little bit earlier than what I should have, just more so because I still had a lot of, it causes like bone pain, just joint discomfort,
side effects, of
things
it.
like that. So I was kind of like, will I see a difference in my life if I stop this medication? But it wasn't enough that I saw a huge difference. But yeah, so I'm now off of that. And that's kind of scary because it's a security blanket, I guess you could say, right? And like oncology broke up with me at the 5-year mark. They're like, we don't need to see you anymore. And I was like, but what? And they say, we're here if you need us. Like, you can still call us and check in and whatnot. So that was, 2013. But right after the diagnosis from that was a whole other life experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if we go into that,
Yes.
I mean, you did move to Toronto too for treatment.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to finish, so I had just started my first chemotherapy treatment, which was it was actually right around my birthday. My birthday's near Christmas, it's December 20th. So I do have, I struggle at Christmas.
Of course.
Because of when that started and when those treatments started. And my brother died suddenly right after I started my first treatment. So on January 2nd, he passed away very suddenly.
2013.
2013, he was 2014, like in January when he passed.
And he was
like, right
a
after
good
Christmas.
support for you.
He was a big cheerleader.
Yeah.
So that was
Very hard.
Very hard, because where do you lay your focus?
Exactly, yeah.
I've got to, at the time my kids were small, my 2 boys, and it's like, okay, I've got to get through these treatments and do this and that, and then in the throes of all that, deal with that grief of that happening.
Exactly.
So yeah.
It's a lot to take on, right?
It was a lot, yeah.
And then you lost your dad in 2015?
My dad was 2015, so the year, not quite a year and a half after my brother. My dad had not been well the last couple of years, so it was, obviously you're never prepared to.
No, and never.
You're not prepared to lose a parent regardless of,
Exactly.
what's happening. But my dad at that point, was dealing with me and then dealing with my brother too, right? And him being unwell himself. So that laid a whole other set of challenges. But so 2013 to 2015. Well, if you throw 2010 in there as the beginning.
Yeah, the 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Just like one thing after
Bang, bang,
another.
bang.
Yeah, exactly. That's just a whole lot of stuff to carry. And for those people watching, that are going through the breast cancer journey, and on top of other things that you're going through, Kim is such an amazing example of you can get through things, and it really depends too. And it helps just the support group you have, the people around you that you have. If maybe you're a single mom or what have you, or maybe you don't have a support group around you, there are support groups that you can reach out to. Do you know of any available support groups?
I'm not largely locally. I know there are some chapters. I'm not super familiar. I didn't take that route.
Right.
Went directly to the internet is where I went with my diagnosis, and found, well, like I mentioned to you, this lovely support system on there that was called breastcancer.org, and that's just a community of people. At that time, now that's been quite a few years, there was different, like I said, different areas within that page where there was different chat forums happening at all times.
For sure.
Whether that was for like spousal support or whatever, everything was there. Like it was an amazing site, and as far as I know, that site is still operational.
So breastcancer.org.
Yeah.
And that's great because, like I say, you can check in and just, maybe you're having a really bad day.
Yeah.
And
there's
someone
always there can just be like,
or
bang.
Bang. Yeah. So that's a really good, thing to have for people out there that don't have anybody or any support at all, because there are those people out there. Not everybody had support like you, or maybe
absolutely not.
and maybe like
Yeah.
other people do. So that's just a good thing to know for sure. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that you went through.
Yeah, and into Toronto in between all that too. So right, like after my treatments, because of where my breast cancer was located, I had gone to St. John and had all the marking was done, the mapping done to have my radiation there, and things were in place, right, like drives and whatnot, because it's an everyday journey for everyone that's
And you had,
done it.
I think I read correctly that you had 30 treatments.
Yeah. So, but after I came home that day from being in St. John, the radiologist called me and she said, "Do you know anyone that lives in like a larger center?" And I was like Moncton, like Halifax? She goes, "No, I'm thinking Montreal or Toronto." And I said, I was kind of taken back because I thought, why? What is different? Why are we entertaining this? And because my tumor bed was so close to my heart,
Yes.
that if they did the treatment in St. John, every time they did the radiation, it would damage my heart. So they have what's called heart-sparing radiation at the Princess Margaret Cancer Center in Toronto.
Okay.
She said, given your age, she said, if you came to me and you were a 75-year-old woman, and she said, not that they don't deserve to live, but that woman is still going to live, but her heart's going to be damaged more from,
Right.
and not only from the chemo as well too, right, but from the radiation treatments. So she said, my choice is to send you there. Does that look like something you can do? So at that point, you rally and you find the resources, and that was on me. I had to rent a condo. I had to, and luckily I have a lovely support system around me, a family and whatnot that was there to do whatever needed to be done to get me there.
Right, and you were in walking distance. I remember reading, and going through chemo. I know my husband had gone through chemo. He was terminally ill.
Yeah.
And I remember just the side effects of that and what he had gone through. So I got thinking, as I was reading your story, like, you walked, like,
Every
even though
day.
you're in walking distance.
Yeah.
I mean, after, like, say your 10th episode, you're going to start feeling kind of like yucky and gross, you know what I mean?
It's fatiguing
It's
more
just like,
than, the
yeah.
radiation, but, I made the best of that when I could, too.
It's amazing.
Got to a couple Jays games.
Well,
walked
there, you're right in the vicinity, right?
Yeah, it was.
Made the best of it.
That's an incredible facility up there, for sure.
It's really good to have, too, especially when you say it was so close to your heart. That, I mean, if you didn't have the option or didn't have the means to go there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it would have been.
had.
Yeah.
And they had to teach you, like, it was something where you had to wear like a mask, like a breathing mask, and they had to teach you like a breathing technique to do. So, like, breathe in, hold your breath, and at certain times just enough to move your organs out of the way to shoot the beam. And so I'm thankful I was able to do that. I mean, heart is something that runs largely in my family, and luckily I seem to be the one that didn't get the heart genetic. I just got everything else.
But look at you today, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Even through it all, like, in viewers watching, like, Kim is, I mean, you're such an amazing woman. I mean, I've met you today for the first time in person. We've worked over, via Facebook and via messaging, and we get your photo shoot done and your story done and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you're just such a bright light. You know what I mean? Like, you give hope to those people watching. It's just, I don't know. It's a scary thing when you hear that word cancer, no matter where it may be.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you stumbled and fell and got back up again, basically, and got knocked down a few more times. You know what I mean? But you're here and you're You're doing better?
Doing very good right now.
You just do your check-ins?
Just my yearly mammograms, and that's
Basically
where
it.
that's at. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there. So how has this all impacted your life? Like, you said you do hair?
I do
That's
hair.
kinda cool.
Very part-time. Oddly enough, after everything that happened with me with the perforation, then my brother, in 2017 graduated from the LPN program through the University of Community
congratulations.
College. So that kind of led me down that path. I always entertained nursing at some capacity, but just didn't do it. So decided at 30, whatever, I'm just going to go back to school, and did my first year in Woodstock. So I drove back and forth there every day, and then I was lucky enough to get transferred to the college here. So finished that off. So it's just a little way that, I don't know, I think if you're a provider or someone with empathy, regardless of what you've been through, you still have the drive to want to help
others,
right?
Yeah.
So, that's.
So through all of your stuff, like, like all the stuff you've gone through, and I imagine there were some dark moments where you're just like,
Very dark.
man, and scary, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I recognize that dark too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, which was huge.
Yep.
So for me, and I think you really need to pay attention to that aspect when you are facing, because really, that's a kind of small part of it, given
Yes.
the outlook of what the other thing is, right? So
Exactly.
if you can get that in track, and then positivity will lead you far, I think, if you're
Right.
going through any type of.
And then you doing the nursing thing and all that, and helping people, you know what I mean, through, all the stuff that you've gone through, it kind of gives you that incentive to, just know, hey, you're basically that support system for those people that are,
Right.
not well, and you get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sadly.
Sadly.
Not sadly. I look at it, like I said, those things, it all puts a different perspective of life in front of you.
Exactly.
It really does.
And now your boys are how old?
My oldest is 20. My youngest, he'll be 18 in March, so he is graduating this year. So
Awesome. And they're okay? They're
they've
good?
they've thrived. They've done well. They were quite young, young enough that I could still keep things quite simple with them when I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
Just minimally told them. They just knew I had no hair and that I wasn't feeling well,
Right.
basically. But yeah, there's a funny story there, because I remember my youngest, Sam, one day, he said, "Mom, can you just go put your hair on?" Because I did have a wig, but I really didn't wear it much. But I had it just in case that I felt like I needed to.
They saw how strong you were and
Yeah.
are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that helps them in their growth as well, you
I
know what
hope
I mean?
so.
As they go through stuff, kind of thing. Well, your story is incredible. You've...
And that's a very small,
If there's
you can
anything
only
you want to
cover
add
so
that you
much.
haven't,
You
yeah.
go, well, I'd be here for days, but at the end of the day, I still have a lot of people that reach out to me. They've known, a friend, a parent, a mom, whatever, that's
For sure, yeah.
has had that diagnosis. People often reach out to me and like, what can I do? It's hard for me. Not hard for me. I'm to the point now, and it really took probably just the last year or two of my life that I don't think about that every day.
No.
Yeah,
you
because
wouldn't want to just dwell on
it's-
that. Right.
It was just something that crossed your mind every day, and it's just a healing thing that you get by, that you're finally like, okay, that's not the first thing I'm thinking of, and not the last thing I'm thinking of. Like, I'll go days and not think about it now,
For
right?
sure, which is good.
Until, like, you may get a message, or you have a patient that's had a mastectomy, whatever it may be. It's still, it's present in your life, right? And
It was part of your life.
yeah, it's a huge part of my life, and kind of one that I think, wow, like, what was that? Like, when you look back on it,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Like,
What was that?
was
Like,
that?
really?
And so, but it has led me, like I said, I really, people admire the way I look at the world, I guess.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can
So
see
it's
why.
kind of cool to
So
hear
it's
that.
really cool.
Yeah.
So for people watching, Kim, what inspiration would you give them for people that are going through breast cancer, or just, breast cancer and just like everything seems to be knocking them down. What would be your message?
I always say, let the helpers help. There's
Right.
always people around that want to help, and you're like, no, I'm good, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Go fold a load of laundry, pick up a basket of groceries. Like, it's so many little things that that person that is facing that challenge at that time is not even thinking about. Like, those things haven't
Yeah.
even crossed their mind. And often people are like, you know what? No, I want to be alone. I want to do this myself. I can, and that's great that you have that a person can have that outlook that, okay, I'm going to face this on my own. I'm going to do it. But at the end of the day, your support system is going to pick up the pieces that you can't put together when it's all happening.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I say lean on your people, let the helpers help, and just let people rally around you that want to assist you, in what you're going through.
Yeah, and you can only be so strong. You don't have to be strong all the time, because
Absolutely.
sometimes being strong, or people thinking you're strong is not, kind of,
It's nice to hear. It's a lovely compliment to get, but
It is.
it also stands true in that sense that, like, yeah, I didn't have a choice though.
Exactly.
Right? So it's that, like, you're so strong, I wish I could be like you. And that's very admirable to hear people speak of you like that. But at the same time, you're like, I love that you say that about me, but I wasn't given the choice to do anything other.
Right, and it wasn't that easy. Like you say, you were strong because you had to be. You had no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah. So, well, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I want to thank you for all the information on the breast cancer and the journey that you had and went through and survived and came through all this other stuff. God is really looking down on you and guiding you. And this strong message today is so important for people. Make sure to get your mammograms, make sure to get checked. And that support group again on Facebook.
Actually, it's just the
Breastcancer.org.
World Wide Web. Yeah,
Okay.
breastcancer.org.
Yeah. And you can start your own support group system kind of thing, the feed, and just kind of check in with each other. And that right there is a big help, community-wise.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
So thank you so much for coming on the show today, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And if you're someone that's watching that would like to share your real life survivor story with us, you can reach out to me on Facebook under Julie Comeau, and also my fan page, Real Life Survivor. And remember, no matter how tough life gets, never give up. We'll see you back here next time with another real life survivor story.